a Hulk Hogan pharmaceutical story.
And back away from the pharmaceutical drugs that these doctors kept prescribing me. You've got 10 back surgeries and knees and hips, and you need this stuff. Well, I didn't need it.
And I heard it. I listened to MMA podcasts a lot. I like UFC and fighting. And he was on Ariel Helwani's. It's called the MMA Hour. And when I heard it, I was like, man, this is a great story.
In this revolving door of this pharmaceutical world.
Here's what he had to say about what they did. The doctors told him to take all the stuff. He said, between anesthesia and the pain pills and the drugs they gave me, it was about a 10-year period where I was in a fog. I didn't even know who Terry was. That's my real name. And I was just kind of like lost in this medical world of listening to what doctors were telling me to do and what to take. And I just wasn't even myself. I got to the point where I had 4 chihuahuas and I couldn't even remember the name of my darn dogs.
Yeah. I mean, that's what these drugs will do to you, though. I mean, I can only imagine the amount of injuries that he's had over the years. I grew up on Hulk Hogan, that 80s era of WWF wrestling. So I was a huge fan. I've got his action figure out here outside the studio, so reading your article about this was really heartbreaking, because it's just like, that guy's been doing it since I was a kid. And these guys take a beating on their bodies. Like you said, like, yeah, it's scripted and stuff, but they're physically jumping off of that, cage, or going through that table, or throwing themselves out, like diving out over the ropes onto the floor. Like the beatings they take are real. And, the way that we've been tossing out painkillers for decades now, like they're candy, I can only imagine what they gave to him, because those guys don't take days off. There's no off season in professional wrestling. Like, you were constantly on the move, traveling, doing shows. There's no stopping. So, for him to be on that many drugs, that he's got brain fog and he's not sure where he is, can't remember his name, his dog's names, and that nobody was like, oh, we're going to taper you off of these things. Let's restart. Let's see if we can find a better way to approach your pain. It's just that's not even a part of medicine anymore. It's just, writing a prescription. You can watch these ads. If you watch any regular television, you're going to get pharmaceutical commercials. Half of them don't even say what the drug they're advertising does. They just have people going about their business and saying, boy, Zerblangatang really makes my day better. And then they go at the end, ask your doctor if Zerblangatang is right for you. And then so you go in and go, hey, should I try this thing? And the doctor's going to be like, yeah, sure. Oh, you want to try that? Here you go. No problem.
Right. And now they're starting, because the only time I don't own a television, but I'll watch sports a lot. I do love sports. In the NBA finals, they're some sort of, like you said, Zerbalangate. I like that. And then it says, if you got the vaccine, tell your doctor. So, it somehow interacts with the vaccine. So you might, I don't know why, but they mentioned it. And then, like you said, they don't even really mention what it's for, because they make so much money off it that maybe they don't even really have to do a normal ad. And I think I don't want to misspeak, so I'm going to say maybe. I like to be as accurate as I can. I believe that the United States and New Zealand, there's only 2 countries in the world that allow for big pharma to promote things that you can only get from a doctor. Like, other countries, maybe they have big pharma ads, but it's things you could pick up at CVS, where only America and New Zealand, they allow you to promote things that the average person really shouldn't be getting. It should be for like extreme things, and they're selling it like candy on television.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is US and New Zealand. I mean, and you can go back to last year. It was really funny because there was something, and it was something about the royal family in England, but American news was doing a thing on one of them. I don't know what it was, Harry and Meghan or whoever. And so a bunch of people from England were watching it online, and all the comments were like, holy cow, you guys advertise nothing but drugs all over. Like, we don't do that here. Like, it was insane to see the amount of pharmaceutical advertising. Like, that was people's commentary on our media, which is like, wow, we don't have that in this country. And every commercial on this thing is Pfizer or Moderna or sponsored by, this drug or that drug. And
It's
it was
gross.
Shocking to them. Yeah.
It's gross to watch. It's gross to see. It makes you feel gross. It makes you feel like you're sick. It's manifesting sickness in people, I believe, where it's like, if you have little issues, it's just like, I feel like dirty. Like, I need to take a shower every time I watch the commercials. That's how disgusting it is. I want to read the second part and get your reaction. So here's just a few more. I wrote this myself, so it's took me like 10 minutes. I'm trying to make sure I get exactly what he's saying accurately. But he said, I decided to walk this thing backwards and back away from the pharmaceutical drugs that these doctors keep prescribing me, said Hulk. And then he said he got off, he feels better now, and this was his take. There was this whole new fight with the same energy to go ahead and help other people like me that were, in this revolving door of this pharmaceutical world. And there is a better way to live. There's a better way. There's a healthier lifestyle to get clear and not have that brain fog and just feel good again. He said, I'm 69 years old and I've been training every day and I feel like I'm about 25 or 30. And it's all because I made the slow walk backwards and made that transition away from that pharmaceutical stuff to where we're at now.
Yeah, I think more people are taking that approach. I think, while in this country we are bombarded with nothing but pharma everywhere, like, oh, there's a drug for that. Oh, you got your legs restless. Here, take this. Oh, that's going to make you sleepy. So here, take this. Well, now you're having trouble sleeping. Well, then take this. It piles up and nobody's paying attention to, does this drug interact with that drug? Like we're just writing prescriptions all over the place. So I think I love that he took it upon himself to say, I'm going to taper off all of these drugs I'm taking. I'm going to go back to just working out and doing things naturally, and to be able to see the results for himself at 69 years old and be like, no, now I feel young again. Now I feel good again. It sounds like he was taking all these medications, whatever they were, for at least a decade or more. And so I applaud him that he's getting off of these things. Like, I mean, we take the largest percentage of pharmaceuticals are consumed in the United States, or of the whole world. Like, it's really crazy, and it's not, we don't have good health outcomes here. We don't have the best life expectancy. We don't have the best healthcare system, as much as we like to run around and say we do. So if our results are worse than everywhere else in the world, we need to start looking at something. And to me, you start looking at pharma.
Right. Well, this is like the perfect kind of intro to the next one. Before I get into it, because we're going to talk about this for a while, I want to say, for the wrestling fans out there, Hulk Hogan, they asked if he'd come back, and he said that he plans to come back. He's not ready yet, but because he's feeling so good, he wants to get in the ring one more time and do an official retirement thing. So he should be back.
He should. Yeah, Ric Flair was here in Nashville last fall and did one of his. I mean, he's like kind of like the Kiss of retirement tours. They've been retiring since '97, like on the farewell tour. But so he's done a lot of these, but he did one here in Nashville, and 73, 74, something, was out there doing it. So no reason that Hulk can't do the same.